Hey, Amazon, you got any more of that Wheel of Time? Yeah, I'm not asking for much. Just it'd be nice if you just greenlit 8 seasons just today. No big deal. Come on, please. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Sandbox. Today I will be continuing my reviews for the Wheel of Time with the second entry, The Great Hunt. Now, the first season of Amazon's TV adaptation is still underway, and I'm hoping that this review will help those of you who have not read the series decide whether it's worth picking up or not. And hopefully you veteran readers out there, I think you guys are called like wheelies, will enjoy my initial reactions to the second installment in this beloved series. If you haven't checked out my review for the Eye of the World and would like to, you can do so by clicking this link right here or by clicking the link down in the description below. For the most part, I'm trying to keep this review today as spoiler-free as possible, but for any spoilers that I can't skirt around, I'll put timestamps on the screen so that you can avoid them if you would like to. So with that said, let's dive on in. Starting with the writing component, I certainly think Jordan is starting to hit his stride more confidently with this second book. I've been told his craft improves throughout the series, but I thought the first one was well written. That said, there are definite improvements to this installment. The writing feels smoother, the characters feel more captivating, and the pacing is much better overall. There are a lot less peaks and troughs as our characters go along their journeys. Excitement and intrigue building and building up until those final 10 chapters that deliver a remarkable payoff. Compared to the first book, I found the tone to be a little bit more intense, especially with those final chapters, and the themes of the book built upon those present in the first and expanded upon them very well. Rand's continuing denial of his identity is certainly the one that stood out to me and made this book win me over more so than the first. But as for the story, where does this book stand? Well, this story follows our characters separating yet again into two separate journeys, the women going to Tarvalin and the men hunting down a stolen relic that can and will turn the tide of the prophesized last battle. The stakes are high here, but in my opinion, a little bit less than the first, seeing as they aren't being chased at every turn this time around, but are now the ones following in pursuit. Still, with that said, this is very much a race against the clock type of story, which is only made worse seeing as the world is not only huge, but also filled with time-altering constructs. I will say that the overall structure of the story can feel like it's all over the place at certain times, but the end result is a wild ride that follows a wild goose chase with surprises at every turn. For me, the weakest part of this story has got to be the Great Game, which happens in those middle chapters of the book. And it just felt underwhelming, especially when it's compared to the house politics in the Song of Ice and Fire. But a part of me also can't help but think that Jordan deserves some credit, since A Game of Thrones didn't come out until 6 years after this one. Besides, the Great Game is only a small portion of this story, and it primarily exists, I hope, so that Jordan can utilize it later on in the series and bring back key characters into the fold. But moving on to the setting, the world building is much better on all fronts compared to the Eye of the World. The White Tower politics between the Ajaz is introduced, and the magic system is more fleshed out, although still present with many cracks to fill. We get to learn more about the nations present in this world, the rivalries, the stakes on land, trade, and much more. And we also get to learn more about one of the more interesting races of people, the Aiel, who apparently are super savage and threatening people. I've been told by many fans that the Aiel are the people you just do not want to mess with, and it just really excites me now that I've seen why, or at least a glimpse of why, in the source material. Now, again, there are some contrivances within this world, this time with the so-called portal stones. After the characters used the ways in the first book, the portal stones just felt like another convenient, random piece to the world that didn't really excite me when they first appeared in my read-through. I pray Jordan expands upon them and uses them in future books, because if they only appear in this one, I'm certainly going to be disappointed, as that part of the book felt very disconnected from the others. Now, fair warning, I am going to get into a little bit of spoilers, so if you want to avoid those, just go to the timestamp on the screen right now. Now, I know that the ways are said to have been created in hopes of replicating the portal stones, as they are so rare and not documented on maps that I know of, but that just makes the fact that they show up in the very next book feel that much more convenient and contrived. Oh, what do you know? In a mission where time is of the essence, they have to use these portal stones that are going to spit them out on some other part of the map, but it could be a week out, could be a month out, it could be a year out.
3,000 years later.
But while it did feel very convenient and a very manufactured problem, there are some awesome scenes, especially when Rand sees like multiple possible timelines. I thought that was really cool. All that said, Jordan continues to expand upon his world, reigniting it with sparks of originality and filling in some cracks of the history and the magic that lives there. Any convenient parts I will hold him to utilizing in future books, lest they remain convenient plot devices. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the character component. While the Eye of the World gave most characters a chance to shine as they made their separate ways toward Tar Valon, The Great Hunt doubles down with its focus on Rand and the girls. Perrin and Mat are in this one, but they mainly take a back seat in the pursuit for this magical artifact. But our female characters, especially Egwene, really benefit from more time on the page. Now, I've got to say, most people hate Nynaeve in that first book, and I can certainly see why. She is very irksome and annoying in how harsh she treats Moraine, who is just trying to help all of them. But at least with her, I felt something, whereas with Egwene, she just felt very vanilla to me. So getting to see her explore Tar Valon and the philosophies of the Aes Sedai, as well as becoming close friends to my personal favorite, Elaine, it allowed me to really warm up to her. And then things got real in those last 10 chapters, and I really warmed up to her. I fell for her and wanted nothing but the best for her. I won't go into spoilers, but those of you who've read it, you know what I'm talking about here. Egwene is put into some savage circumstances that really make you feel for her and buy into that relationship that she has with Rand. Now, Nynaeve also doesn't fall short in this one. There is one chapter in particular where you really emphasize for her. Her desires, her fears, they all come out on the page and really elevate her character. In a lot of ways, if the first book was setting up the male characters for the most part, this one is setting up the female characters. And while going into it, I had mixed feelings about that. Coming out of it, I am just nothing but excited to see where Jordan goes with them. Also, obligatory praise for Loyal. Love you. Now, as for the villains, we kind of get more of the same from the first one regarding Ba'alzamon, though the opening prologue definitely piqued my interest, but the ones that really shone are new additions that expand upon the world and are quite terrifying. There is still Padon Fane to deal with, still Trollocs and White Cloaks, and now political enemies in what's called the Great Game or Dice Daimar. But the Shan-Chan are the ones who really terrified me. Whenever they were on the page, my spine was tingling and I just wanted them to go away, which is a mark of a good villain. I am curious as to what the deal is with Selene. I mean, she was like creepily seductive, and yet her intentions felt somewhat ambiguous, so I don't know what's going on with her. I'm just going to read and find out. But yeah, I didn't have much to say about her, but I felt like I should at least mention her. All in all, the heroes, the villains, and the relationships between all these characters were all a step up from the first, and Jordan even managed to throw in a redemption arc for one of them, which you guys know I'm always a sucker for a good redemption arc. This book feels fast-paced, sometimes in a bad way, but more often than not in a good way, and still has moments to breathe and let the characters shine and develop further. The magic is explored more, the world is expanded upon, and the story itself is filled with twists and surprises. For my score, I'm giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. This is a sizable step up from The Eye of the World, and I could certainly see this being some people's favorite. But let me know what you guys think about this book down in the comments below. If you've read it, let me know what your favorite moment was and who is your favorite character. If you have not read it, I would just avoid the comments section if you want to avoid spoilers, because I can't control what people say down there. But as for now, that's it from me regarding The Great Hunt. I plan to read the next 2 or 3 books in 2022, and regarding the first season of Amazon's adaptation, I will be putting out a couple of videos. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all next time.